So what arcade game am I playing this week? Cinematronics' Rip-Off. Rip-Off is a multi-directional shooter with black and white vector graphics written by Tim Skelly and released in the arcades by Cinematronics in 1980. It was the first shooter with cooperative gameplay. Rip-Off was ported one time in 1982 to the Vectrex home gaming system. The objective of Rip-Off is to prevent computer-controlled enemies from stealing 8 canisters in the center of the screen. 1 or 2 players control tank-like vehicles, while game-controlled pirate tanks rush into the field and attempt to drag the canisters off the edge of the screen. Enemies can be defeated by shooting or colliding with them. The game's speed and difficulty increases with each successful wave until all the canisters have been taken or ripped off. 1 or 2 players attempt to protect fuel canisters from a group of invading pirate tanks that appear from the edges of the screen. There are 6 styles of pirate tanks in the game worth 10 to 60 points each. The value of each style is determined by its speed and the strategy. Low point value tanks are very slow and generally head directly for the fuel. Higher point tanks are much faster and work together to lure the player to their destruction. Higher level pirate tanks are armed with short range lasers, while player tanks at all levels are equipped with a cannon. Invading tanks are destroyed when they are hit by a cannon shot or by a collision with the player's tank. There is no penalty to the player for destroying enemy tanks this way except for a brief period of time when he's out of the game. When playing a 2-player game, it's not possible to shoot the other player, although you will both be destroyed if your tanks collide. The game is organized into waves and bonus levels. 2 or 3 enemy tanks attack in each wave. A wave ends when all pirate tanks have either been destroyed by the players or they have dragged all the fuel canisters off the screen. After a number of waves, the bonus levels increase 10, 20, etc., and another round begins, starting with 10-point tanks. Each successful round is slightly faster and harder than the one before it. The bonus level gives additional points for each enemy tank destroyed. The game proceeds in a manner until all the fuel canisters have been ripped off by the pirate tanks. Another really cool fun fact about this game is, like I mentioned a moment ago, you can kamikaze the enemy tanks. So if you're shooting and you can't get them, you can ram them. It'll destroy both tanks, but you have an unlimited number of tanks. As long as there are fuel depot cubes in the center of the screen, you will regenerate over and over. But like I also mentioned before, you got to be careful not to ram into your partner because, man, that makes a fight afterwards. As I also mentioned before, the only official home port of Rip-Off was on the Vectrex, and the Vectrex once again just did a beautiful job with this port. It's pretty much arcade perfect. The sounds are just a little bit different, but not too bad. I gotta say, Cinematronics games tend to have really good sound effects, and of course the graphics, being vector, are very good. Now, Rip-Off was made as a clone game called Tron, published in 1984 for the Atari 8-bit family. So that's the game I've been playing this week, and I gotta tell you, Rip-Off is a really fun game, more so if you have a friend to play with. Just watching you and your friend defend your center pods there like that, it's actually really cool. And of course you blame the other person when they steal the last pod. In any case, if you haven't played that game, it's available in MAME, highly recommend it. Also available on the Vectrex. Vectrex does a fantastic job with these Cinematronics games. So I definitely recommend Rip-Off. It's a fun game, and well, that's it for this week. Tune in next week for another one of Glen's Games of the Week. But for now, no matter what you do or how you're playing your games, just remember to game on. Actually, have any of you guys seen my wallet? I think I've been ripped off. Game on.